Okay, hello everybody. It is the 7th of September and I am getting back to my weekly AuthorTube updates. I'm sorry I didn't give you guys an update last week. Not much really happened, honestly, other than I was diagnosed with eczema. I have it on my hands. You can't really see it, but I used to have bad rashes on my wrist, on that part of my hand. You can probably see it a little bit there, and on the back of my hand. But I went to the doctor. I got diagnosed with eczema, and now I have prescription cream to help with that. It may never go away, and I may be using certain hand creams for the rest of my life, like CeraVe, which is approved by the National Eczema Association. Go figure. But yeah, that was what really happened last week. So I'll kind of do a cover of what happened last week as well as this week. Like I said, diagnosed with eczema. On Saturday, I started keeping a list of things that people suggest having for self-care, because I could definitely start using some self-care for myself. And using what I learned, I actually put together my self-care kit this week. I have some pictures of it that I'll probably be putting up now. But you can see in those pictures that I have a treasure chest that my grandfather gave me. I know that's where I keep all of my stuff. I put in some of my pens and my journals in there so that I can write about what's going on, including my bullet journal that I am reading this off of, because that's essentially my daily diary now. I also have my Galaxy 3 tablet, which is basically my e-reader. It's where I can read Kindle books. So when I find a new paperback or hardback that I want to read, I'll probably put that in there too. And when I find lotions that work for me that should be used on special occasions, I will also put them in there. I also intend on, I also have some really nice warm fuzzy socks that I got for Christmas this last year, because I like to have warm toesies, but not too warm. You know, I'm one of those people who gets nightmares if their feet are too hot at night. I also intend on getting an eye pillow from Bath and Body Works, primarily just to give my eyes a rest, because I do stare at a computer for a long amount of time. I got some mint tea, because apparently mint tea is really good for writers and their creative minds. I need to put together a happy file, which is full of affirmations for myself, quotes that I like, and good reviews and good messages from other people who I've met. There's that. And I've started trying to change my vocabulary so that I can maybe start putting some good vibes out into the universe, because sometimes I'm a little bit of a negative Nelly. I am one of those people that when things start to go bad, they're like, the world is ending, everybody go home, no use in trying anymore. That's me. So I also started thinking about, for my other channel, the Hungry Writers channel, some mukbangs that I can do. I haven't had some good Chinese in a long time. The only chain Chinese restaurant here is Panda Express, and it's a very limited Panda Express because it's in the university student union building. So it's not like the full restaurant. They get like a corner of the building for their little express line. And honestly, they're making their food too spicy for me. I'm a wuss with spice. So I looked at other Chinese restaurants in the area, and I took a look at their menu. So I will probably do a Chinese buffet mukbang. One mukbang that I want to do is kind of an odd mukbang. I just want to get a bunch of Lay's potato chips and onion dip, because I miss potato chips and onion dip. The diet, certain things you can't have on a diet, especially if, like, it's a food that's super tempting, like potato chips, I'll eat the whole bag in 5 seconds flat. So I may get some potato chips and onion dip to celebrate something, hopefully getting an apartment and a job. I also have ideas for a Sonic burger mukbang. You know, get a nice coney, get some pretzel twist, get some onion rings, because I love onion rings. I might do a Burger King mukbang, but I don't really like Burger King as a restaurant. I prefer McDonald's. I also have ideas for an Arby's, and even though I really don't like Chili's, I will try some stuff from Chili's. Okay, jumping ahead, there was a period of time where I just wasn't journaling in here, so there are some days that are missing. But jumping ahead, I tried a different tarot card book reading, so like with my Oracle book that I like drew tarot cards for to try to figure out the plot. I tried it with a different deck, and I realized that I need to change up how I'm going to do it if the deck is going to be bigger. Because sometimes you draw things like the Two of Pentacles when what you need is a character. And Two of Pentacles doesn't really inform like a character type, other than maybe sex/gender, depending on what is featured on the card. So I'm going to try reworking that system. I have an idea where I separate the deck into two pieces. One is the major arcana and all of the court cards, which is like Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Rinse and repeat for cups, wands, and swords. Because those usually inform personalities. So I'll split the deck into that deck and then put the rest of the cards in another deck and draw from certain parts of the deck depending upon whether I need a character or an event. So the deck that has the major arcana and the court cards is going to be characters, and then the rest of the deck is going to be events. It may work, it may not, I don't know. I can only try. So that's good to know. I also did something fun this week. I started playing Nancy Drew games again. I used to play her interactive Nancy Drew games all the time. I started when I was 6. Which is really interesting because they're for ages 10 and up. My sister turned 10 when I was 6 years old, and she got her first Nancy Drew game, which was Message in the Haunted Mansion, and I, by conjunction, became obsessed. Even though I ran out of the room every time there were scary bits. Because looking back as an adult, there aren't really any scary parts. Message in a Haunted Mansion kind of dances on the line. But I downloaded some Nancy Drew games. The first was Secrets Can Kill Remastered, which is a remastered version of the first game they ever came out with, which was back in like 1991, so a lot of things were really outdated. So they re-upped it. The characters are no longer 2D animation, they are 3D animation. But that's the one game that I never had, and it's odd that I never had it because there was actually an art contest that Her Interactive held where you could create fan art and submit it, and your art would be featured in the game. And I entered, and my art piece was one of the ones that was chosen. So it's odd that I never got that game. But I have it now. I'll probably put a screenshot of where my piece is in the game, as well as what the full piece actually looks like, if I can find the original file. I don't know if I can. But that was cool. And then I re-downloaded my favorite game, which was Phantom of Venice, which I think that was number, I want to say 17 or 18. I could be wrong. So a lot of these, I have a couple of notes from those games interspersed throughout this journal. So, but it was fun to get back into that game. I haven't played in a long time for a couple of reasons. The first being my old computer, the disk drive stopped working so it wouldn't read discs. And this computer that I'm recording this on right now, it doesn't have a disk drive because people aren't really playing games on CDs anymore. They're downloading and they're streaming. It makes the computer smaller and lighter, but it also means I can't play the games, or I need to find an external CD drive to plug into the computer so I can download the games. So, right now a lot of the games are pretty cheap on Amazon and Steam. Most of them are only like $7. So I guess from now on I'll just be asking for like Amazon and Steam gift cards that are like $10 so that I can just like download like one game a month. But it was nice to get back into those games. The other reason why I stopped playing is, if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot. Sorry, I just totally stole from Peter Mon. I'm sorry. What you don't know is Her Interactive hasn't come out with a new Nancy Drew game in, I want to say, 4 years. Yeah, it was about 4 years. And the reason why is because they've been trying to change up their platform. Because since people are no longer playing a whole lot of PC games, they want to expand to be apps on phones and tablets. Now that's fine. That's cool. I'm down. But the problem is that they have kept their fans really in the dark throughout most of the process. I think the first year after the last game, we got like 2 letters from the company saying, hey, things are on hold. This is why we're trying to expand platforms that we can be played on, and we'll keep you guys posted. They basically didn't say a word to us after that for like 3 years. To the point where I actually contacted them not once but twice to tell them, look, we understand what you're trying to do, but you need to actually communicate with us, because it's been 3 years since we've had a new game, where you guys used to come out with 2 games a year. That's kind of a steep fall. And if you don't communicate with us, we're going to forget that you guys exist and that a new game is coming out. And at this point, most of us are wondering if the new game is even going to come out. And the responses both times were like, we understand, we get it, and we do appreciate you guys for being fans of us, because we would not be what we are without you guys. But the problem is that we don't know what's going on, basically. We don't want to say that these things are going to be in the game, or the game is going to be out at this point, because we're not sure if that's actually going to happen. Which they actually broke on that, because first they said the game was going to be coming out in spring of 2019. That's all we got. Spring of 2019, we didn't get a specific date. Spring came and went, no sign of the game. And that's when I contacted them the second time. And it's like, I got to the point, I understand that they need to do what they need to do, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need a game out by this point. I'm not that kind of a person. I'm mad that they're not communicating with us as fans. And there's a little itty bitty part of me that doesn't want to play the new game out of spite. I'm gonna do it anyways. But if it's not a good damn game, after 4 years of working on it, I may be done. And a lot of other things happened that makes the company a little controversial. They kind of laid off half of their staff, including the original voice of Nancy Drew, Lonnie Minella. That's a whole thing. We won't get into it. I've already talked about this too much. But point is, I actually, from playing those Nancy Drew games, had an idea. I'd been considering starting a Twitch channel for, I want to say, a couple weeks now. Ever since Shauna actually suggested it on like a live stream to me or something like that. But I could play games like Nancy Drew and other games that were based off of literature, because I know there are a couple of Agatha Christie games. I actually used to have one, if I can find the CD or if I can find a cheap download. Some of them is clue games that are kind of like Nancy Drew, are based off of Jane Austen's novels and kind of The Crucible in one of the games. So I could play those. A big goal would be playing Call of Cthulhu. And the reason why that's a big goal is because to buy it is $50. Kinda don't have that to spend on a game right now. But if a Twitch channel takes off, I could do that. And Call of Cthulhu is technically a tabletop role-playing game, but obviously Cthulhu is from H.P. Lovecraft literature. So I don't really like scary games, but I'll do it for the sake of shits and giggles. So I was kind of thinking about that as I was playing my Nancy Drew games again. And actually, if you're a writer, playing those Nancy Drew games is actually pretty good because it really gets your mind going and it gets you thinking. So it's a good warm-up if you are having a hard time focusing. Not to mention very informative. Okay. I'm super late on getting my monthly newsletter out. I will be working on that this weekend and I'll get it out as soon as possible. I just really don't know what to honestly write about because I feel like I'd just be saying the same things over and over and over again. Let me see here. A lot of this is more, positive affirmation, sending good vibes out into the universe, like, this is what would make me happy in life, and I know I'm going to be happy, so just put the energy out into the universe. La 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 la. I also came up with a couple of new ideas for videos. I kind of want to write a video about how to write a 10-minute play, or a play in general. That would primarily, obviously, be focusing on formatting, because, at least for me, the actual meat of the play part is easy. You're writing dialogue, just back and forth, and for me, dialogue is pretty easy. May not be for everybody, so I may have to go into more detail on that. I also want to do a video on how to write a D&D campaign. I also want to see if I can make some art pieces from words and see if I can do like a speed paint video or something like that. Right now, like, the biggest idea I have would require a higher production value than what I have right now, so don't know when that's going to happen. As I start to use my self-care kit a little bit more and adjust it for me, I can do a video on how to create a self-care kit for writers. I also want to do a video that kind of compares fanfiction.net to Archive of Our Own, which are fanfiction websites. And by that same token, I want to do Tumblr versus DeviantArt for fanfiction, and then basically do a battle royale of the fanfiction websites to say, okay, this one was technically the best option if you wanted to start writing fanfiction here. I also want to do a video about writing diversity in fiction, because I have a few things that I can talk about on that. That's really all that's in my journal, but yesterday I came up with a new idea for a book. I say I came up with. This was originally an idea for a D&D character I had a long time ago. And finally yesterday I just said, well, why don't I just write the book instead of waiting for a D&D game to actually use the character? I might as well just write the book. So now I have a potential NaNoWriMo 2019 project, and hopefully it goes better than last year's NaNoWriMo. But anyways, the title has already changed once. It started off as Rebel, it's now Retribution. I won't tell you guys too much about it because I'm still in the thought dump phase of everything. Once that's done, I can start outlining. But now that I've got a little bit more of a creative streak in me, once I get done thought dumping and outlining for this new project, I will get back to working on Canvas, because I obviously need to get that done before I start a new project. Aside from which my critique partner really needs to have all of the chapters, not just a few of the chapters, so. Anyway, that's what's been going on. I'm sorry that this was an extra long video, but since I skipped last week, maybe this makes up for it. Anyway, I will see you guys next week, and my new writing video will be up on the 15th. It's pretty much already done and edited, and it's ready to go. And you guys will see my new, opening and, my new intro and outro that I got from Fiverr, and I'll talk to you guys about that, so. Bye, guys.